Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hello there, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. So if you have been on TikTok or Instagram or any sort of social media in any semblance over the last year or two, you have most likely seen the Coco YO and the Fuzzy Hygie coloring books that keep... So apparently it's actually Higgy. And I've only just discovered this because I'm editing in a clip of someone that said it correctly from TikTok.
Let's welcome in Cozy Higgy.
But Google says it's Huga.
Huga.
So which is it? I'm so confused. Popping up literally everywhere. These coloring books have gone viral not only on TikTok, but they're viral all over the internet. In fact, these coloring books are in the top 100 books list. As soon as you search coloring book on Amazon, it's literally all you see. It's just filling the page. And you can, ignore the fact you can see the toilet paper in my cart on the side. They've even leached over into the activity book bestsellers list. Oh look, that book looks familiar. I literally follow lifestyle influencers on Instagram who claim to have absolutely zero artistic talent whatsoever, who own these coloring books. Like, these are popular not just with artists, but with just non-artists who just want to do something creative without much thought. So I went ahead and purchased the 3 most coloring popular books in the top Amazon list. I don't know why I said that sentence completely backwards like Yoda, but what I meant to say was I purchased the 3 most popular ones off the Amazon 100 bestsellers list, meaning these books are up against novels, cookery books, and everything. These 3 books were in the top 100 of every single book in existence on Amazon. And we're gonna try them out today. We're gonna see what the hype is about, because personally, every time I see them, it just reminds me of a child's coloring book, and I don't really get why they are as popular as they are. I'm gonna just put that out there. I don't really understand the hype. I actually did purchase this coloring book from TikTok a little while ago. This one is very fun, I will say. It has similar vibes, but the reason I bought it was because it gave me Polly Pocket vibes. I love Polly Pocket, and there's like a lot of small details and things like that. But every time that I see these books, they just look like kids coloring books to me, which I guess as an artist doesn't really excite me all that much, because I'm like, they're really cute, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like, I don't know, I don't get it yet, and I want to get it, so I'm gonna try them today, see what we think. At first glance, I look at this and the paper is very thin. It's incredibly thin, to the point you can see the other page through this one. So the paper is ridiculously thin, but because they are blank on the back, a lot of people use these with specifically Ohuhu markers, and they put like a piece of paper behind each page so it doesn't bleed to the next one. And it seems to work great for people. I will say, in order to have coloring paper that can take alcohol markers without soaking through to the other side of the page, you would need ridiculously thick cardstock paper in a book, which isn't really feasible when you're making stuff like this. For example, this is how flimsy the Coco YO paper is versus my paper, which is very thick. But even this does struggle with alcohol markers because they're just difficult. So with something like this, you don't really need the thickest paper in the world, so that's probably why. These literally run for under $10. You can get them, I think, in Michael's, in bookstores. I want to see what the hype is all about, so let's get started. Fuzzy Hygie has 4.7 stars with over 3,000 reviews. Then we have Cozy Friends, which has 4.8 stars and 3,900 reviews. And then 4.7 stars and 4,500 reviews. So as you can see, these are incredibly highly rated. These are promoted to be for adults and teens as well. So these are not promoted to be for children, even though you kind of look at them and you think, oh, these are probably for kids. When you compare them to an actual adult coloring book with all of these tiny little details, you're literally like looking at all of these very intricate pages with just tons and tons of things to color in that take hours and hours to do. Comparing something like this to something like this, I do wonder if people found that these were like too much for them. Like, some people would absolutely prefer this, but I'm wondering if people, especially those who don't maybe have a lot of patience, would prefer something more simple. Like for me, even though I wouldn't really be interested in buying something like this usually, I do wonder if people get more enjoyment out of those sort of shorter, easier bursts, going back to their childhood and doing something like this. Maybe if you love these books, tell me why. Tell me what it is you really like about them. For me personally, I find these less intimidating than something like this. You know, this is quite intimidating. It's something I feel like I'd have to really sit and do really well, whereas these, I almost feel like there's less work involved. So maybe that's why non-artistic people love these so much as well. So maybe there was like a real niche for more childlike adult coloring books. But they're very cute. The illustrations are adorable. So let's get started on a page. Let's see. It's a little coffee shop. That's cute. Oh, the bookshop. That's adorable too. I think I'm going to do the coffee shop because this one is really, really cute. I love the vibes of it. I love anything with like quaint little things. And this one appeals to me because there's a few more details in this one as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to try this one. Sometimes when life gets too stressful, it's nice to go back to doing things you did when you were little. Okay, so I have put a sheet of paper behind this because this will soak through to probably 3 of the pages. I will say it's a lot easier to use markers when you have thick lines like this because markers do tend to like to bleed. Maybe people enjoy it because they don't have to spend so long and they don't really have to think. And maybe colouring books these days have become so incredibly detailed because they're aimed at adults that maybe people just prefer something more simple. And I can completely get behind that. That looks like the same colour. And just because the lines are simple doesn't mean that I can't make it a little bit more detailed if I want to. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. I think one of the things I was most nervous about was that the paper would rip quite easily, especially if you're heavy-handed with alcohol markers, because that can happen. But so far, fingers crossed that the paper will hold up. From what I've seen, it's fine. But I definitely think these colouring books lend themselves to markers specifically, more so than anything else. I'm so bad at keeping in the lines. What the heck? This is embarrassing. I'm going to add a couple more bricks in here. What? Oh, shoot. Okay, I messed up. I picked up the wrong marker. So we're gonna expand the green a little bit lower because I messed that up. Pretend that's not there. Oh, geez. So this is why you have to put paper behind it, because this happens. In fact, this is thick cardstock and it's actually gone all the way through the cardstock as well. Putting like a piece of printer paper behind it will not help you. It will still go through to the other page. So just keep that in mind because these pages are incredibly flimsy and they can't really hold a lot of anything. Just forewarning you if you haven't bought these yet. I will also say that blending on these pages is not the best. For example, this just like smears big time if you want any details. And even right here, it's not taking to the page all that well. So I'm not really sure how to fix it other than just like going over it again and hoping that it doesn't make a weird stain. I'm trying very hard not to view this from an artist's perspective because I think the main audience for these books is not supposed to be like a full-blown artist, maybe just like a casual hobbyist who likes to color in. Because if you are judging this based on paper alone, you will not like it. As someone that really does not care, it's not going to bother you in the slightest. Honestly, even though these pages are not the highest quality in the world, I think it's just cheap and cheerful, and that's all people really care about. They don't need the fanciest paper, I think. You know, if you want fancy paper in a colouring book, there's plenty of options out there. I think these are just made to be cheap, cheerful, something that you can do on the go and not have to think too seriously about. I'm gonna make the flowers pink, although they look kind of orange now. We'll go fuchsia pink, like a highlighter pink on these little flowers that I have messed up because there's green on them. But let's ignore that, okay? Like that actually. A little bit of dimension there. I hate the orange though. It's like really splotchy for some reason. I think I'm gonna do like a deep purple for these. I don't know if they're supposed to be rocks or if they're flower pots, but we're just gonna make them purple and hope that makes sense. Yeah, you know what? I'm really getting into this now. I love that it's not taking me a stupid amount of time. It's probably gonna take me like an hour for the whole page. And I can see it. Like I see why people like it. I just think that it would appeal to certain people more than others. And you know, thinking about it too, people that suffer with things like arthritis, holding onto a pen to get those tiny details would probably be very difficult. And if you have unsteady hands as well, something like this would be so much easier for you. I almost wanna make my own simple coloring book now because I feel like this would be so fun to make something nice and simple. Maybe I should do that red. Looks like he's got a sweat patch under his arm. That's so annoying. My watch keeps telling me to stand up. I'm drawing, I'm colouring in my childlike colouring book. Leave me alone. Okay, so I have a jelly roll pen here. This makes everything 10 times nicer. So we're gonna go ahead and use that on this page. I really don't like jelly roll pens though. I prefer other white liners, but this is the only one I've got. The Uni Ball Signo is a much better gel pen than this one. This one's just very meh to me. I know it's like really popular, but I've just never really liked it all that much. It just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't work that great. I severely messed up this coffee sign, so let's fix that because I don't want it to actually look like a child has coloured into this page. These gel pens are trash. It's a brand new one too. They're so rubbish. I just don't know why people like these. I've never understood it. I should make a video about art supplies that don't deserve the hype because these do not deserve the hype. Okay, I think I'm just gonna leave it here. I actually love how this came out, minus the weird blending that happened up here. I don't know what really went on there. This paper is not like proper marker paper. And to be quite honest, like the paper quality itself, it's not great paper. Like I'm gonna be genuinely honest with you here. However, it doesn't rip with the markers at all. And this book is so cheap. You're not gonna expect high quality paper for like $7, $8. You're just not gonna expect that. The designs themselves, absolutely adorable. Just keep in mind that if you do use markers with this, you need a thick piece of cardstock because literally look, it even bled through this. So if you don't want to ruin each page, you need some sort of thick paper. Other than that though, you can make this as detailed as you want. Like obviously the pages are very simplistic, but you can add shadows, you can go a little bit fancier with it if you want to. I think it was fun, I really do. I see the appeal. I genuinely did have a lot of fun doing this. Took me a little bit over an hour. But yeah, I really like this despite the fact that it looks like I colored 2 pages in at once. Next up, let's try out the Fuzzy Hyuga book because this is a different artist to this one. Coco Wayu actually has a bunch of different books, but I'm not sure about Fuzzy Hyuga. They might have a few, I'm not sure, but the lines on these aren't quite as thick. Just popping in here to say a massive thank you to Squarespace, one of my favorite brands ever, for sponsoring today's video. I've been a Squarespace customer myself for years. I'm a current paying customer where I have my own online portfolio and my own online store where I sell prints. Squarespace is honestly just the best place to go if you want to build a website, a portfolio, an online store. The ability to have an online store on Squarespace is one of my favorite features they have. You can sell products, services, or both. You can provide classes and tutorials and have members areas for your website and make it beautifully designed to showcase your brand. Online payments are super simple, super easy. They give you options for inventory, shipping, and fulfillment. Another one of their great features is their SEO tools. All websites are optimized with meta descriptions, so your website basically has a much better chance of showing in search engines for customers. So if you want to try out Squarespace for yourself, go to squarespace.com/CHLOEROSEART for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use offer code CHLOEROSEART. And thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Ooh, we could do something different with this one because this one's supposed to be like a nighttime scene. So let's give maybe this one a try. I think I prefer the scenes in this one to the one I just did. I don't know, that's just me though. I'm gonna use a different one and see if the paper quality is any different. I really don't think it is. Okay, let's go ahead and like a dark blue. This one's gonna be different because it's gonna be a nighttime scene, so it'll be something a little bit different to do. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to do here, to be honest, but we're doing it. Might add some little white dots in here too, because I feel like we need some extra stars that aren't quite that big. I think that works. That's kind of what I'm going for. Now we're gonna do a red tent because I feel like this should be red, but I don't really have red markers. This one is like the closest I have, which I guess is kind of like a burgundy. Oh shoot, my paper moved. Ah, my paper moved. Damn it. That's my own fault for not being more careful. I'm gonna go much lighter on the inside part here because there's gonna be some light shining. Okay, it's splotchy as heck. The paper is definitely the same. as the other book, but it's fine. Okay, I'm trying to make this fire expand outwards, like the glow, without messing it up. Okay, blending doesn't really happen on this paper, but I'm trying my best. Some people go really to town with these and have like sunlight streaming across the page and like make them super, super impressive. I'm just doing some shading, honestly, because I don't want to go into too much crazy detail because I'm just enjoying keeping it more simple at this point. I think one of the reasons these went so viral like they did is because all of the videos that you'd find on TikTok just looked insanely satisfying to watch. Like, they made you want to buy these books. Ah, cute. I like this page. Don't like this part of it, but it's cute. It's a cute page. Nice to do something different. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, I do not have a preference between this book and this book. The quality of everything is the same. The style is almost the same. They're just very, very similar, and I feel like it's just nice to have a lot of options. So I would say for $7, the hours and hours of entertainment you would get from this, you know, I think it's worth treating yourself to one, and then you can maybe try a different one if you wanted. But life is stressful. Coloring will relax you. My husband's really into coloring with me at the moment because he just finds it so, so, so relaxing. I feel like at first glance, these seem like they don't have a lot of detail, but the more you look at them, there are actually quite a lot of things in here. It's not like a 5-minute thing, but I feel like the more I'm coloring these, the more things I'm seeing. Okay, so this one is done now too. I kept it mostly simple, but added in some shadows here and there, obviously. Some people really go to town and they have like streaming lights down and all that stuff. Again, I didn't do that, but this is how this one turned out. Again, very soaky throughy, if that's the, you know, ghosting. It looks pretty though. I feel like you could just like outline that and make it all over again if you wanted to. But this is how this one came out in comparison to this first one. Looks like the Coco YU books have slightly thicker line weight than these ones do, the Fuzzy Hygie. So if that's something you prefer, you probably want the Coco YU ones because again, the line thickness is a lot more. That being said, I feel like because the lines are thinner on this one, it looks nicer than this one. Let me know, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer this one or do you prefer this one? I am gonna go ahead though and use this last coloring book as well. I'm gonna find a picture in here. That one's actually really cute. And then we're gonna finish up and then we're going to compare all three, and oh my gosh, that one's so cute. I've got to do this one. So let's get started on the next coloring book. I have a couple of cute ideas for the colors that I want to do, and I just think it's really sweet. So we're going to do this page. I want a really nice like buttery yellow though. These yellows kind of suck. I've just realized it actually tells you that you should put a blank sheet of paper underneath, which is good. All right, so I want to give him a yellow rain jacket because I feel like all rain jackets should be yellow. No questions asked. I have a bright yellow raincoat myself that I love. Gonna give him some green wellies, and if you don't know what wellies are, it means Wellington boots, which are rain boots. But I actually said this to my husband the other day. I said, oh, I need to get a good pair of wellies, and he's American, so he was like, what's a wellie? I feel like at this stage, we've been together for so many years that there's very few words he's not heard me use before. I think I'm gonna keep this wall grey because I don't want it to be the focus. I was gonna make it orange, but I was like, you know what? It's kind of a grey day. I'm just gonna keep the foreground and this part brightly coloured. I actually think this is my favourite colouring page that I've done. I didn't think it would be because this one's even more basic than the other ones, but I just feel like it's just so cute.
Okay, so once I'd finished with the colouring book, this is how it came out. I am so happy with it. I think it looks really, really cute. So my final thoughts, I did really enjoy doing this, and I think it's a really great way to just relax when you're not really feeling like doing a whole lot. I don't think it's really necessary to own 100 of these like a lot of people do, because even though they look simple, they still do take time, but I also understand people like to have options. I still hate the paper. I understand it's cheap, and that's my biggest gripe. And having a colouring book that you can use with alcohol markers is next to impossible anyway. This is just extra bad though, because it's not cardstock, it's just like regular printer paper. That being said, I get it more now. I find those adult colouring books to be a little bit intimidating at times. These, I feel they're a lot more achievable, and I could see myself completing a page in one sitting. I think it's all very personal preference. I think some people will love this style of artwork, some people will hate it. I will never be someone who goes wild for them, but I do appreciate that they have an audience and are really, really good to unwind. So yeah, let me know if you like this style of colouring book, and if so, why or why not. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.